Hello and welcome
fuck?
to You Can't Sit With Us. Where
I think it's because we're talking about douchebag tonight.
What the fuck, dude? It was like, nope. Okay, so basically what just happened was the video on the screen decided to get into a little small video and scatter on down to the other side. And I have no damn clue how this happened. So I just hit the X. And when I hit the X, everything froze. And I was just like,
and then we're all like,
I don't know
you get that still of us right there going.
That's your subconscious, because you're always asked when you call like tech support, have you unplugged it and plugged it back in?
right?
It's just second nature. It's
oh my gosh.
Oh.
We are talking about the X Factor tonight.
Oh,
The X Factor.
The X Factor.
We are talking
Mr.
about
douchebag.
This is You Can't Sit With Us. I am Hex's Daemon. That is Akia Daemon, and there's Mother Daemort. And we are talking about the Dennis Rader Extravaganza.
Not for woo.
BTK. The most douchiest of douchebags.
He needs to be BTKTD.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's kind of like an STD.
Yeah.
He's something. He's not going away yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like a bad case of like anal warts or something.
Yeah, I definitely would say that.
Anal warts. A bad case of anal warts.
Anal leakage.
Why was I not expecting that? But somehow
Definitely a bloody hemorrhoid.
It's very. I think it applies to him.
Definitely a bloody hemorrhoid.
definitely an image. It's definitely an image.
All right, let's get into this.
Guys, do not give us stars. We did not give
Yeah.
them permission to tell you to give us stars. Do not give us stars. We don't want them.
No,
But go to our Patreon.
Go to our Patreon.
Right now, if you go to our Patreon, you can see the entire episode, which is what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be having a little bit of an after show over there.
Yes.
Well, and you actually, as a member of Patreon, you actually do help keep the lights on here. So
Yes, you do.
Yep.
we do appreciate it.
But we are going to be showing.
I said do.
A do.
Doo-doo.
We are going to
Have
be
died.
getting into some of the.
Cholera.
Dysentery.
I was in the lake. What?
This is the best part. Is this is
I've
totally
been boiling
silly.
my water. Oh, you died of dysentery.
You have been killed by bandits.
You boiled
What?
your water for 9 minutes and 59 seconds, not 10 seconds, not 10 minutes. You died of dysentery. I don't think it fucking matters. This shit we
You're
went
not
through
supposed to win that
80s.
game.
I feel like I think I should be proud, considering it seems like I've gotten further than most people.
Oh,
I think you have. I didn't even know there were Indians.
I never made it past the Mississippi. I'm going to say that. I never did. I'm right there with your daughter, odd mother. I never got past them.
I always love the hunting part.
Yeah.
I always
love the-
missed. I don't know how I missed. I thought you were just supposed to hit the arrow key or something like that, and that was that. And this matters all. You missed. Your family died.
You are a horrible person.
20 people died looking for you while you got lost in the woods. You now have dysentery.
You've died of starvation and dysentery.
You have
You are a
chosen.
hollow husk.
You have crawled back to society after eating the meat of your party.
What did you do? Blow across their butthole? Sorry, guys. It's been one of those days. Ooh, I think we should say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Hello, Raven.
Hey,
Hello,
Calvin.
Calvin.
And that's everybody. They heard blow across somebody's butthole and they left.
Ah, fuck this.
I meant like he just blew away in the wind because he was a hunt.
Goodbye.
Charlotte's Web, the babies. Goodbye.
They blew out of her butthole.
What was
Ooh.
this? Is Charlotte with Tourette's?
Charlotte with come on.
No, it was Family Guy or
Was
something,
it?
and it was like whore.
Oh, that's what it was.
It wrote out whore or something like that on the web.
You're all Charlotte with Tourette's. That was all Charlotte with a severe stutter.
No, like no joke. I was laughing so hard when I saw that because it was like when Charlotte had Tourette's and it's a whore or slut or something. I don't know, but it was bad. It was great.
That sounds funny.
It wasn't some pig.
It wasn't some pig.
That game sucked, but was addicting at the same time, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like playing Helldivers right now. You just gotta die. Like it's so hard, but it's so addicting. I've been playing it nonstop.
Yeah, you sure have.
I love it.
We I had to restart my Dragon Age game.
Oh,
My Dragon Age 1 game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't beat the boss because I had the wrong crew.
Mm.
And then I couldn't go back far enough. And I'd already
I did that to myself one time with saves.
Yep.
Because, I was like, God, I don't have to start all the way over.
Oh, yeah, like all the way over. And then I finally found Dragon Age 2. So I'm going to have to say goodbye to the Inquisition game that we've been streaming and do this again. You guys are watching me play Dragon Age 1 again.
yeah, I got some ideas of what we're gonna be streaming next. I've already been playing it.
Yeah. So with that,
such a fun game and so satirical. It's just awesome.
nice.
Managed democracy. That's literally the stuff they say in there. It's great. How was some nice liberty?
So, oh, look at that douchebag.
Yeah, he's got a scowl on him. He came out of the vagina looking like that.
And who are we talking about?
BTK.
Yep.
Dennis Rader.
The bad case of anal warts.
Yeah. The most douchiest of douchiest serial killers of all time.
So I guess let's get into look at that face.
If there was a guy that could make serial killers look bad, he's that guy.
Oh yeah. Like I used to laugh all the time with those memes, like it would show everybody else sitting at the table and they were like, you can't sit with us, dude.
He definitely can't sit with us.
No. Yep. Just look at it. It's such a punchable face.
Yeah, it looks like some dude who was going to write 2 books. He does. That's what he's going to look like when he gets older.
Well, Dennis Lynn Rader. Well, that's why he was mad. He was named Lynn.
Yes. Dennis Lynn Rader
Could have been named Sue.
Was
Rather than
born.
named fucking Lynn. God damn it.
Yep. A boy named Sue.
I want to go write freaking tickets and be a dog catcher. He was a dog catcher.
Yeah. So he was born in Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Yep. Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Population 5.
Probably. Wait. Population 20,000.
It's the size.
That's
of
still
Taft,
pretty small,
California.
though.
Yeah, it's not huge, but
It's the size of Delano, California, right there.
yeah.
It sounds like everybody in that town is confused as to where they really are.
Sounds like every
Right?
man in that town.
What state are we in?
Sounds like every man in that town looks like a frog standing up with pair of pants on, no ass at all.
They
Where
have
you
to wear
from?
Suspenders.
Where are you from? Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Kansas.
Oh. Pittsburgh.
You guys famous for your barbecue? No. We're famous for our stone soup.
Good stuff. By the way, it's in Crawford County, Kansas.
Crawford County.
Yep.
Sounds cooler than what it really looks like.
Yeah. That looks yeah. Yep. So Dennis Lynn Rader was born in Pittsburgh, Kansas on March 9th, 1945 to a bookkeeper, Dorothea May Rader. Maiden name Cook, apparently.
Dorothea Cook?
Dorothea Cook, yeah.
It sounds like everyone's related to a Dorothea Cook. Doesn't it? I mean, that sounds oddly familiar.
My aunt Dorothea Cook.
Yep. She crazy. We don't really like go around her too much now because she gets to drinking. But she's okay when she's not drinking.
Well, and his dad was a Kansas gas service worker named William Elvin Rader.
What?
Elvin.
Dorothea
The Elvin Rader.
Elvin Rader. Whoa.
What was that? Sadistic? No. Where was it at?
No.
Nope.
No. I have no clue. I have no clue what I just.
You clicked on something and there was
No, I did not.
There was a sexual position that just came up that was drawn.
There was. I don't know what the hell. What just happened?
Well,
I can't.
I had to do with Dennis Rader. He had a couple of drawings, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Oh, but this was like
there it is. What?
Explaining what masturbation means,
guys.
We're gonna be showing this stuff in the after show.
No, we're not showing this one. Well,
we might. We're actually gonna show this one because it has nothing to do with Dennis Rader.
It has nothing to do with Dennis Rader.
It's just Wikipedia where you highlight like it's all certain house, but it's house is highlighted, and it just takes you to a picture of a generic house.
Yeah,
like let's just take us to a diagram of masturbation. Guys,
like bookkeeping, and there's like a book.
Okay. Well, I think that is the universe trying to say that that's what his parents should have done,
right?
Versus having him,
right?
No, he's like groping himself in a weird way. This image is like molesting himself.
This image is molesting me. Okay, God,
it's
no.
Weird.
So from a young age. Oh wait, hold on.
No.
We left off with Elvin, didn't we?
Elvin.
Yes, we did. Elvin.
Elvin Rader next to the masturbating.
Elvin Rader the
Elvin Rader the masturbator.
Elvin Rader the masturbator. Hey guys, I had a son that was a serial killer. Watch me masturbate. What the fuck? Well, we got a new mascot. Applewhite lost his job.
No. I'm good. I'm good. We do not need Elvin Rader the masturbator. Oh fuck. Woo. By the way, Mr. Elvin was the eldest of 4 sons.
Well, duh.
So Rader grew up in Wichita, Kansas. Both parents worked long hours and paid little attention to their children at home. Rader later described feeling ignored by his mother in particular and resenting her for it.
Poor little narcissist.
Right? Like, oh my God, she didn't say hi.
Oh no.
You let Hexus put the article in his porn folder?
Oh no, I got all the other images there. Right over here on my trusty old laptop. Sounds like a diesel engine when I start it up now.
So here we go.
Actually, it's a pretty badass laptop. I'm sorry, guys.
From a young age, Rader harbored sadistic sexual fantasies about torturing trapped and helpless women.
I think he got a hold of one of those trucker mags, bondage mags.
Maybe.
Somehow. I vaguely remember, I think it was like on last podcast on the left or something, they were talking about it. And they were saying that he got a hold of those, I think. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I heard anything or I listened to it.
Excuse me.
And that tickled his wickle, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, he also exhibited zoo sadism.
Okay. Oh.
Torturing animals.
Yeah. I was about to say.
But it's not just torturing animals. It's deriving sexual pleasure from torturing animals.
Okay, but the way you said it for a second there, I heard Zeus sadism, and I was like, wait a second, is he torturing the god Zeus?
What the
No, he's striking people with lightning bolts.
He would torture and hang small animals.
Uh,
Rader acted out sexual fetishes for voyeurism, autoerotic asphyxiation, and cross-dressing. He often spied on female neighbors while dressing in women's clothing, including women's underwear that he had stolen
do not highlight that again.
and masturbated with.
Elvin Rader masturbator. Hey guys. hey everybody.
With ropes and other bindings around his arms and neck.
Sorry.
This guy is wow. And we're probably getting taken down for half of this shit.
Well, and you know, one of the self-taken pictures, and you're just gonna have to wait till the after show to see what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I almost wonder, how did he do that without a second party?
Yeah, well, I think his wife knew.
She had to.
Yeah.
I don't care what she says. You would know.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't have to.
I mean, there's like, if it was like I had no clue and they were together for like a year or two, that's one thing. But 30-something years, 30 years, right? Something like that.
You would know. You would know that. You would know.
Insane.
At least you would have like some sort of like subconscious confirmation that things were really messed up with your husband or your partner.
Yeah, exactly. Like
it wouldn't be like he was such a nice and quiet husband. It's like, yeah, I figured eventually he'd do something stupid.
Right? It was like, he always seemed like the kind that would just do something stupid. I had no proof.
I don't know why I stay married to him.
Right? Well, so years later, during his cooling off periods between his murders, Rader would take pictures of himself wearing women's clothes and a female mask while bound.
Mm-hmm.
He later admitted that he was pretending to be his victims as part of a sexual fantasy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And yes, I'm kink shaming. I don't give a fuck. However, Rader kept his sexual proclivity. Thank you. Proclivities. My brain was like not gonna let me say it.
I do it all the time. I can't talk.
Right. He kept his sexual proclivities well hidden, and he was widely regarded in his community as normal, polite, and well-mannered.
Actually, he's probably more of an asshole.
Look at his face. He's an asshole.
Oh no, he legit was an asshole. He was one of those guys that he was a Karen. He was a straight up Karen.
He looks like a Karen. He does.
Or is a straight up Karen. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure he's that way in prison too.
Probably. Well, so after graduating from Wichita Heights High School, he attended Kansas Wesleyan University, and he received mediocre grades and dropped out after a year. He served in the Air Force from 66 to 70. On discharge, he moved to Park City, which is a suburb of Wichita, where he worked in a meat department of an IGA supermarket where his mother was a bookkeeper. What?
What?
Yes, you do, actually. Yes, you do. Hi, CJ. It's always the normals, right? He was such a good boy. Oh, he looked so normal. Nobody would have ever suspected him. Yeah.
Do we have a picture of him? I mean, I know everybody pretty much knows what he looks like, but
let me grab one real fast.
You got it. I got to take some of the pictures down.
Okay. I'm trying to get the right.
Be careful which picture you choose.
Yeah.
Wait, this is hilarious. Hold on. I have two pictures here.
What? Okay.
Wait. There's a couple here because this is too good.
Yeah.
This is too good.
Babe, I got to clear space.
Hold on. And this one. There it is.
Did you get them?
BTK
I think
2.
we're good.
Yeah, I told you only 2.
Yep.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Ta-da! Look at that charmer.
Yeah, that mustache and those glasses.
It always looks like he just got out of bed.
Yeah. He just like, well, you take a picture of me, huh? I'm gonna report you.
Everything just looks like he just got out of bed.
Looks like he's about to complain that his rights were like taken away from him.
I don't know. One eye's looking a different direction than the other.
Yep.
But how did he even tie any knots? Like,
I don't know.
He wasn't even cross-eyed. He had like one eye facing normal and the other one was like crossing that way, but he wasn't exactly cross-eyed.
Because he's an asshole. That's why.
What the fuck?
What?
Hi, Tyler.
Jihadi Vigo.
Jihadi Vigo?
The guy looks like my old biology teacher.
Yeah. He seems that just one of those just douchey.
I remember that guy RoboCop arrested him once. Modern day
Walter.
What the fuck? Oh shit. All right, so let's get back into this. Rader married Paula Dietz on May 22nd, 1971. They had 2 children, Carrie and Brian. I'm sure the kid was a douche too. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Actually, they all.
I'm sorry, kids.
They have all completely disowned him. Like
I just don't like that name.
Change their names, all that stuff.
Oh, I imagine they have.
At least I'm pretty sure. Actually, I think the wife did too.
Probably. He attended Butler County Community College in El Dorado, earning an associate's degree in electronics engineering technology in 1973. He then enrolled in Wichita State University and graduated in 1979 with a bachelor's of science degree, majoring in administration of justice. That is the douchiest major.
Yep.
How does he? But okay, so wasn't he like eventually, like when he was doing all this stuff, like a cable guy or an HVAC guy or something?
He installed home security systems, and that was while he was doing things like that. And people, a lot of the people there would say they would literally talk to him and tell him, "Oh my God, we feel so safe that you're putting in our system here. There's that serial killer out, the BTK guy, or whatever." Like, and they're saying it directly to him.
How crazy is that?
Can you believe how much that stroked his ego and like just emboldened him even more?
He's like, I am so coming back tonight and getting y'all.
Oh yeah.
Did I mention that he was a staff sergeant?
He also knew security systems because of it. That's how he was able to break into people's houses so easily.
Well, yeah, he got a bachelor's. Well, actually, his associate was electronics engineering.
Oh, but he was in when there was nothing going on, though. Like in our, wasn't it? He was a staff sergeant, you said?
Oh, yeah. No, I was saying, did I mention he was a staff sergeant?
When was his years of service? 60? Oh, no.
66 to 70.
Oh. So he actually saw, if he was, Air Force.
He was Air Force.
Yeah. Never mind. He wasn't.
He probably went and joined the Air Force so he got to choose what he would do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to be drafted, you might as well choose where you're going opposed to being told where to go.
Yeah.
A lot of people did that during the Vietnam War.
Oh, if it started, that was the thing when the was it the Sepent the second Gulf War started up in like 2001. That's what I was. My buddy and me at the time, we were getting ready to join the Navy. The draft started up. We're all screw this.
Yeah, because between like what 75, 76 and like 89, there wasn't a whole lot going on. Like a lot of the people I went to school with when we graduated, they went into the military, did 2 to 4 years, and just to have that under their belt.
It was like around 2001, I think. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It was 2003. That's when the second Gulf War started, and that's when we're like, well, if we get drafted, we're going in the middle. We're going to Coast Guard, or we're going to the Navy.
had a Coast Guard recruiter say something like, "We just sit around and shoot seagulls all day."
I would love to be in the Coast Guard. Don't they have like a
what
lot
the hell?
of cooks in the Coast Guard? Don't they eat well in the Coast Guard? A lot of fishing. Not much going on.
I think back then they were just like busting coke runs and then like Cuban refugees.
Well, actually,
like even there wasn't a whole lot going on.
That Vietnam guy I was telling you about, who came into CarQuest a lot. We were talking about it.
That Vietnam guy.
Yeah,
the Vietnam veteran. You mean
Vietnam veteran? Sorry. That Vietnam dude.
That Vietnam guy.
He's got a crazy eye. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Was his name Charlie? I'm confused.
He doesn't like loud noises either. He don't be loud around him and don't wake him up. Just leave him alone. No, the veteran dude who always came in, he was saying the Coast Guard actually were sent to Vietnam.
Oh yeah,
a lot of them were. So
yeah,
because they have rivers.
I just remember in Apocalypse Now, the sergeant standing there with his like, with his like underwear, long underwear, not long underwear, but the boxer shorts and his like Mountie looking hat.
Smells like freedom. Such a fucking brutal movie, man. I love it.
It's such a good movie. Such a good movie.
All right.
So Rader initially worked as an assembler for the Coleman Company, which is, if you guys don't know, an outdoor supply company. Then he worked at the Wichita-based office of ADT Security Services.
You know what? Oh wait, was he the last place he worked at was the security place, wasn't it?
Well, he was working for ADT from 74 to 88.
When the Coleman, when was he working there?
Like 73?
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was later on.
No.
Yeah.
Coleman, that was the first one. Yeah. He was an assembler. And then he was working at ADT, which is the security service.
So if you have a camper from the 70s, it might have been made by BTK. If you have a tent from the 70s, if it's still holding up, it might have been.
It may be growing anal warts.
Right. So he actually installed alarms as part of his job, and in many cases, homeowners that were concerned about the BTK killings, and they would go up to him and thank him.
Yeah,
like
exactly. And they would say that we did this because we were worried about the BTK killer.
And he was like, happy to help. You know.
Don't worry, madam. I sniffed your dildo drawer as I left. And then he just poofed and went away. Nope, he was back later that night.
Well, Rader was a census field operations supervisor for the Wichita area in 1989, before the 1990 federal census.
Huh. Wait,
he just like getting up in people's houses, didn't he?
Yeah. He was a census field operations supervisor for the Wichita area.
Oh, yeah, I bet he was a douchebag when he did that too. Like, just such a douchey boss.
Hi, Slippy.
Hey, Slippy.
I saw that come through. I had to say hi. And in May of 1991, Rader became a dog catcher and a compliance officer in Park City. In this position, neighbors recalled him as being sometimes overzealous and extremely strict, as well as special pleasure in bullying and harassing single women.
There was a one where the one of the women he bullied and was sexually harassing. She finally threatened him with her boyfriend, I think, and she came back the next day and her dog was gone and was taken down to the pound and euthanized.
Wow.
And he literally took it down there and to say because he was a dog catcher, said it was off leash or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And got away with it.
Wow.
Well, and you know the thing about it too, wouldn't that give him the tools and the understanding of how to deal with people that might have dogs?
Oh, yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at every place he worked. It's got to be calculated a little bit. He's not.
Yeah.
He was very, very egotistical, and narcissistic. Thought he was smarter than everyone else. I mean, especially when we get.
He wasn't stupid, but he wasn't as smart as he thought he was.
No, he was smart, and I hate to say this, he was smart in killing. He knew how to do that.
Oh yeah.
And lucky, like dumb luck, just played a part in some of his killing.
Especially when we get into his first killing, like right off the bat, it was like practically berserk mode. when we get into it, like here in a second.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, so one neighbor complained that Rader killed her dog for no reason. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Rader was a member of Christ Lutheran Church in Wichita and had been elected president of their church council.
And this will play a factor in how he was caught.
He was also a Cub Scout leader.
This is insane. Okay. We'll get it. Well, one of his killings here too. It happened on a Cub Scout trip.
Yeah.
A camping trip. And when we get into it, like, it's crazy how he did it and got away with it.
Oh, yeah. So by the 2000s, the public's memories of the murders began to fade. Local author Robert Beatty began writing a book about the killings after being shocked that so many young people he spoke to had never heard of them. Hungry for attention, Rader reemerged as BTK in 2004 after learning that there was a book being written about him.
I can tell you how I found out about BTK. I didn't even know anything about him in any way, shape, or form until I watched the HBO miniseries called Generation Kill. And on there, sorry, my mic's that's much better now. I was on the wrong side of my mic. It's called Generation Kill, and in there, one of the guys, it was based on the Iraq War, and the one we were just talking about, 2001. And when they went over there, one of the guys killed a little girl, and they called him BK, or as in Burger King. And then they're like, "Why do you keep calling him Burger King? What does that have to do with killing a little girl?" And they're like, BTK is just shortened for BTK because he killed a little girl. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I like looked it up from there, like however I could back then, because I think I had dial up because I lived way on the farm. And it was insane.
Well, so we'll get into a little bit more of this later, but I do want to mention that on July 26, 2005, when he was arrested, his wife was actually granted an emergency divorce, and they waived the normal 60-day waiting period.
She got the fuck out of Dodge.
Yep.
She's like, they're going to be questioning me.
And in an interview with ABC News in 2019, Rader's daughter, Carrie, said she still writes to her father and has now forgiven him, but still struggles to reconcile him with BTK killer, stating her childhood seemed normal and they were a normal American family.
Yeah, that was the thing with him. He did compartmentalize his with his kids. He didn't do weird stuff around them and actually took them out and actually had fun and stuff like that. So yeah.
But I still want to say, how does anybody really know? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That the behind the scenes, like, family dynamic wasn't just a little off, like, don't get dad really mad, or you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff that they wouldn't normally tell people. I get that he was able to, separate his family life from his douchebagginess. But it just seems like every once in a while that would have to leak out, especially during that really long cool down period.
Well, those mean looks and stuff like that. He probably did have little outbursts here and there, but sometimes crazy dads are just crazy dads for a moment, and then all of a sudden they're back to being normal again, or to them being normal. Like I remember one of the times my dad got pissed at a flashlight when I was a little kid. It was hilarious to my mom and me, but he stomped this flashlight flat in front of us because it stopped working for the 1,000th time, and he was fed up with the brand and everything like that. And if anybody else saw that, he would probably be like come off as abusive, but he wasn't in any way, shape, or form. It was just he was mad at the tool and he broke it, and then he went and got another one and went back to doing what he's doing. But I'm pretty sure Dennis Rader had moments like that. Not comparing my dad to him, but
God.
Well, I think we've all had moments like that where we're just like, because I will tell you, there is nothing that feels better than pitching a little temper tantrum every now and then.
Oh, exactly.
Punch the wall.
He slid through a wall too that one time right there when you were trying to move
I
the
was
bed.
not angry on that one. I literally slipped and my foot went through the wall.
And they called I'm sorry.
I remember that. I remember that.
Like, what do I do? I'm stuck in the wall.
Oh man. So get this. So we're getting into the murders and stuff like that, right? But last year, Dennis Rader compared himself to the Gilgo Beach murder suspect.
Oh, the one in
this guy right here.
Isn't that near Jersey or something like that?
I'm not sure. Excuse me. So
that's the one where he was killing sex workers and putting them in suitcases or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. So his name was something Hewerman.
Yeah.
Rex Hewerman.
Okay. Either that or he was the Craigslist killer. I can't remember. There was one that it went by 2 different names.
This guy, oh man.
Was he active from 74 to 91?
I can't see where. So this guy actually killed 10 people. I think is what he was saying.
Okay.
And so so Dennis Rader wanted to be in the
headlights again. I mean headlines again. You know?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, hey, he reminds me of me." And because of that, apparently,
I get what you're saying. He's like, "Oh, fucking copycat killer! Look at him. He reminds me of me trying to like act like me and everything like that."
Yeah, and because of that, somehow it led to them finding an 11th victim that they never knew about.
What?
Yep. And there are 2 that they are now suspecting him of.
Oh, that's insane. Are we gonna
Gilgo Beach or Rader?
BTK.
BTK. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, you have it on that one thing that you're gonna read right now, or?
Yeah. Basically, authorities have named him a prime suspect in 2 unsolved disappearances and possibly identified an 11th victim. But so this is an actual timeline that we're getting from reading a lot of the information tonight from biography.com. And yes, a little bit off of Wikipedia here and there. And
yes.
And then I do have a write-up from Psychology Today on sort of a profile of his psychological profile, so to speak. I'd like to. It's not very long.
Why don't we do that before we get into the murders?
You want to? Okay.
Yeah.
This is from Psychology Today. And I'm just going to read kind of the interesting part that really kind of applies, but it says, following his 7th murder, Rader sent a letter to authorities where he asked, "How many do I have to kill before I get a name in the paper or some national recognition?" This statement indicates just how much he craved attention for himself. He was also fully aware of society's fascination with the macabre, giving the notoriety attained by other serial killers. Rader was said that he knew the public would be riveted by his crimes and would demand to know his motives. Therefore, he deliberately appealed to society's appetite for murder. Through his taunting letters and clues, Rader was speaking directly to what he felt was his public audience. Now, another indication of his narcissism is that he rejects the classification of serial killer for himself. He sees it as too limited to encompass the many accomplishments of what he considers the BTK.
Yeah.
Rader that's fucked up.
That is, he is very much. It was very much ritualistic for him too.
Yeah.
It was very insane, like how he went about it. Especially if you guys stick around for the after show for Patreon and stuff. We're gonna get into a lot of those pics and stuff like that he took of himself that we can actually show over there.
Yeah.
Now it does go on to say Rader explained that unlike most serial killers who targeted a particular type of victim, such as the young or female sex workers, BTK killed men, women, and children with equal pleasure and disdain. He reasoned that no one in society could feel safe while he was on the loose because literally anyone could be his next victim. Rader believed that his BTK alter ego was more like an armed terrorist, such as, and he basically applied that to like Osama bin Laden, than an actual serial killer. He also fancied himself a natural-born predator who is no more responsible for killing than a venomous snake or a shark. In fact, he attempted to neutralize any responsibility for his murders by claiming that he was compelled to kill by something he calls the X factor. That is, an insatiable, undeniable urge to kill that he does not comprehend. Rader is completely unrepentant today and has no remorse or regret except for having been caught.
His when you watch because they have him, you can watch his entire confession live because they
It's
have him.
creepy.
He reads it
Ugh.
out loud, everything he did, how he did it, and in court. And there's like, I think it's a couple hours long.
There's like no inflection.
And
in
he
his
is,
voice.
he's just completely like, it's an errand list he's reading off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Rob.
So,
Hey,
yeah,
Rob.
that's what I had on that. So,
Ugh.
and I think that just kind of embodies his whole.
Yeah.
He's just a walking actual asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, January 15th, 1974, Rader kills 4 members of the Otero family.
This is insane. First time out. This is his first kills.
First kills that are known. He did have a tendency to mess with small animals.
Yeah, but for actual like kills that get him, arrested.
Yeah. So, 28-year-old married Air Force veteran Rader makes the plunge into infamy after severing a phone line and entering the East Wichita home of Joseph and Julie Otero.
I think this is during was it winter, wasn't it? Or January, yeah, right. Winter.
Yeah.
Sorry, my fault.
So, Julie Otero was actually a co-worker of his at Coleman.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So, he strangled Julie and her husband Joseph, and then killed 2 of their young children, and leaving 3 older siblings to discover the bodies when they arrived home from school later that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking monster, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
he was there for hours too. It wasn't it wasn't like it was just all happened within the span of 20 or 30 minutes. He was there for a while.
Well, so I'm sorry, he was 38, not 28. I said that wrong. And Julie Otero was 33. The children that were killed were Joey and Josie, 9 and 11.
Wow.
And the older kids had been at school during the time of the killings.
And it messed them up the rest of their lives.
Oh, yeah.
Like just completely tore them up.
Well, so after his arrest in 2005, Rader confessed to killing the Otero family. He claimed that he first targeted the family 2 months prior to their murders when he spotted Julie leaving to take her children to school and followed them. On the morning of January 15th, Rader cut the phone lines and entered the residence when Joey opened the back door for the family dog. Rader told the Otero family that he was a wanted man in California before he ordered them to lie on the living room floor at gunpoint. He then led the family into the bedroom and tied them up with rope that he had prepared. Joseph and Joey were on the floor while Julie and Josie were on the bed. The wrists and feet of Joseph and Julie were restrained. Joseph's head was covered in a plastic bag, which Rader secured with ropes. But he did chew a hole in the bag, so he's able to breathe a little bit. But because of that, another bag was placed over his head and tightened so that he would suffocate to death. Yeah, guys, warnings.
Bad one right here. This is going to get even worse.
Yep. Warnings. Lots of warnings.
This is going to get insane.
Okay. So he attempted to strangle Julie, but according to him, she woke back up and she was pretty upset with what was going on. She asked me to save her son, so I actually had taken the bag off. She screamed, "You killed my boy. You killed my boy." And she actually said, "God have mercy on your soul."
This is
what she said, and I put her down permanently.
Yeah, I think this is actually his tapes or his
Yeah, this is I'm literally quoting him right now.
Yeah. No, I'm saying this is actually him in court, like
Yeah.
actually reading it out
Right,
loud.
his court transcript. Yeah.
He then strangled her to death with a rope. With both parents dead, Rader then also placed another plastic bag with 2 shirts in addition over the boy's head, Joey's head, and watched as he thrashed while he suffocated. This is a 9-year-old, by the way.
I think that's the part that Rader enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loved the
was
fear,
the dying part.
the dying, the fear, all that stuff.
Yeah. Afterwards, he led Josie down into the basement where he hung her from a noose with a pipe, like on a pipe.
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, like there are, like he denies it, but I think that he was doing things he shouldn't be doing to that child while she was.
Yeah, they actually found some of his DNA.
Yeah.
Near her partially clothed body.
Yeah.
Rader then eventually wrote a letter that he stashed inside an engineering book in the Wichita Public Library in October of 1974, describing in detail the killing of the Otero family.
The other weird thing with this is he's one of the few serial killers who never penetrated his victims either. He had to basically just, whatever on the side. We see so much. I see so much.
Well, I don't think that was his kink. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think that was his kink. I honestly feel after, because we've researched into him before and we've talked about him a little bit before. I think that it was the total control he had over these people and the whole process of them dying. I think that's what the fetish was.
Oh, it was, and that's when he went to town on himself right there, and he would kill them and then basically jack it right there, and that was it.
Right.
Well, so then we go to April 4th, 1974, and this
Mr.
is Rader
Giggles.
striking again. What?
Mr. Giggles is here.
Hey, Mr. Giggles. So Catherine Bright, another Coleman employee, by the way, returns home with her brother Kevin to find Rader waiting with a gun. Kevin somehow survives a gunshot to the head, but is unable to save Catherine Bright because Rader stabbed her to death.
Had severe survivor's guilt too because
well,
severe.
Well, so Catherine was 21, and Rader got in through her screen door in the back. The brother Kevin was 19. And so he actually transported Catherine to another bedroom and tied her down after forcing Kevin, who was being held at gunpoint, to restrain his sister with a rope that Rader provided. Rader attempted to strangle Catherine to death before stabbing her 3 times in the back and lower abdomen with a knife when she just struggled too much.
Yeah.
That's he just like, well, she struggled too much, so I stabbed her.
Oh yeah. He's just a monster.
Yeah. Kevin was also strangled and shot in the head, but survived by feigning dead and later escaping.
Freaking brutal, man.
But he did fight back some.
Did fight back
before BTK finally shot him in the head with a 22.
I thought, was it twice in the head, wasn't it?
I know at least once.
I think it was just once that time.
But it was it was finally him running out of the house, and I think his hands were tied behind his back too when he finally got out of the house. Yeah, and he's just running down the street, and then someone found him running down the street.
And I think, doesn't Rader change from a 22 to a 9mm later on?
I'm not sure on that. I bet you he probably did.
He did, because 22, unless you shoot somebody the right way, and it's bouncing around inside of them, because 22s can be extremely dangerous.
Oh yeah. They'll bounce around,
but they can also just piss people off too.
Oh yeah, especially if you get shot in the arm, and it just goes through the meat.
Yeah.
You're still able to use the arm.
Yeah.
So October.
But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. October 1974, he introduces himself to the police. After one young man allegedly confesses to the killing of the Oteros with 2 friends, An editor at the Wichita Eagle receives a strange phone call that directs him
He
to
got,
a mechanical engineering book at the Wichita Public Library.
He got very possessive of his kills.
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
That's what he wanted. He wanted credit for it.
Police find the book.
A lot
and
like
the letter.
Jack the Ripper, if you think
yeah.
about
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. He probably idolized him.
Oh, probably.
Probably.
Or idolizes him. I don't know. So he directed them to the book that he had hid the letter in. So the police found the letter wedged inside, which read in part, "Those 3 dudes you have in custody are just talking to get publicity. The code words for me will be bind them, torture them, kill them. BTK." You see, he's at it again. They will be on the next victim.
Now, people said he didn't understand how, or he didn't know how to write or anything, because he would have sloppy handwriting and everything. I think he did it on purpose.
Oh, he did it on purpose.
He purposely messed up his grammar, everything like that, to sound off, so that people wouldn't try to, the cops couldn't find him if it came down to that.
Yeah, because it says those 3 dude you have in custody are just talking to get publicity. The code words for me will be bind them, torture them, kill them, BTK. You see, he at it again.
Wait till you read his poetry.
They will be on the next. Oh, dear God.
Oh, man. It's brutal.
So, along with including then unknown details of the Otero killings, the letter is filled with what authorities come to recognize as the killer's peculiar brand of misspellings and grammatical errors, along with a distinct sexually aggressive signature.
Yeah. Yeah. Stick around for the after show, guys. You'll see it when we show the pictures off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, there we go. March 17th, 1977, BTK murders a mother of 3. Entering a home by way of the 5-year-old child who opened the door, Rader barricades the boy and his 2 siblings in the bathroom before strangling their mother, Shirley Vane. Or Vian? The children eventually escape and provide the police with a very vague description of the intruder. So, 25-year-old, what?
I think that's the one where he locked the kids up in the bedroom,
That's what I just said.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
That's exactly what I just said. So
I zoned out there for
apparently,
a second.
Yeah. No, because that was exactly what I just said. Yep.
I was like, oh, you see, for some reason, it just clicked in my head. You kind of, or they didn't have in the notes right there that it didn't say what he did with the kids. I was like, oh, no.
I just
actually,
said
I do remember hearing it now. Locked kids up in the bathroom with toys.
So, Shirley Ruth Relford was 25 years old. She was found dead in her home in Wichita.
Say her name 5 times fast.
Shirley Ruth Relford. That one wasn't too bad. Rader was pursuing Relford and located her by following her 5-year-old son to her home.
Oh, wow.
Relford had not been feeling well and had sent the boy out for soup. Rader entered their residence and pulled a handgun out from under his jacket, frightening the whole family. After tying up her 3 kids and locking them in the bathroom, Rader took Relford to the back room. Excuse me. Rader actually had her restrained while she vomited before tying her legs to her bedpost. He then strangled her with a rope after placing a plastic bag over her head while her children screamed and banged down the hallway.
He's just this guy.
Similar to the Otero murders, Rader intended to murder the children, although they were ultimately able to escape before he could do it.
Yeah, he's fucking just a terrible person. Dear God, this guy just.
Yeah.
And our tax dollars, man.
and the thing is, with that psychological profile, like even now, having had children, he still just does not get it.
No, he just doesn't. They're just sacks of meat, Dan. That's all it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, December 8th, 1977, BTK reports his next victim. After binding and strangling 25-year-old Nancy Fox, Rader heads to...
And I have this recording that we can play.
Oh, yeah. Well, Rader headed to a payphone to point police to his handiwork. And he said, well, you know what?
You may play it, and I've got the transcript.
we are almost an hour.
Do you want to split this up into 2 episodes?
Well, I was going to say, shouldn't we put that on the Patreon?
What? This right here? No, this is fine. This isn't going to be anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and play that.
So, all right, and I've got the transcripts because it is very grainy because back then they didn't have digital recording, so you probably won't be able to understand exactly what he's saying. Hold on just a second. Are we ready?
Yes.
Yes, you will find a homicide at Suite 43 Nancy Fox. I'm sorry, sir, I can't understand you. What is the address?
All right, so what he says on that is the operator says dispatcher, and BTK says, yes, you will find a homicide at 843 South Pershing, Nancy Fox. The operator says, I'm sorry, sir, I can't understand you. What is the address? Then the operator also says, or there's another operator on there says, I believe 843 Pershing, South Pershing. BTK says correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yep. He was making sure that he got credit for that one.
Yep.
Because he was especially proud of it for some odd reason.
Well, so he had actually marked her as a potential victim and started stalking her the same day. He ended up knocking.
Quick.
Yeah, he actually knocked on her door, and when nobody answered,
Sorry.
bless you.
I'm sorry.
When nobody answered, he cut the phone lines before breaking in to wait for her in the kitchen. Rader would later describe this murder as what I call a perfect hit.
Exactly.
Although she gave me a lot of verbal static. That's
which you
what
probably like.
Oh, yeah.
She cooperated. She didn't fight me. I had complete control of her. That is why that's why it was one. Ow.
Sorry.
That's my foot. That's why it was one of the more enjoyable kills, as I can call them. Yep.
What a douche.
Oh, yeah.
And I do have one question though, just one question, and we may get into this like during the investigation and all that kind of stuff. But you've got 2 women that wind up being killed in similar circumstances, working for the same company. How did that not send up red flags?
I have no clue.
They just didn't. They just.
Well, I
don't know.
He didn't exactly work with those women.
No, but if it was the same company and that particular site for that company, I mean, I would think it would be very much like Walmart distribution centers or Amazon distribution centers, to where, you've got your main company, but they've got distribution centers all over the United States. So if both of these women were working for the same
exact location,
but then again, too, we're talking about pre-1977. Like, there were no like real profilers, and they're just now like getting into the shit. We have what we have deemed serial killers now.
If you remember the series Mindhunter, every single episode or every other episode or so, they would show a slight image or a scene or whatever that they were doing of BTK, because he was supposed to be the ultimate basically bad guy of the series, the entire series, but they never got around to doing it. But that's while this was going on, they were literally creating was it the whole term serial killer and and what it meant. So
same for the Boston Strangler. Like, they left that, like they were working on that too with the broomsticks.
Oh yeah.
And like season 3 really needed to happen. Anyway, sorry.
Hopefully it does. I mean, they said it's just on a hiatus until they all have time to do it. So
yeah.
So Rader killed Fox by strangling her with his belt on her bed. And before she died, he told her that he was responsible for the Otero murders. And the following day, he called the police from the phone booth, telling them where they would find the body.
Oh, wow.
So January 31st, 1978. God damn it. The killer reaches out with a poem.
Yeah, here we go. This is gonna be great. Do you I mean or do you want to read it?
Where is it? Hold on.
Let's see if we can open up here.
Is this it? I don't have it.
No.
I don't have it.
Well, I'll tell you what, read or you keep going, I'll try to find it.
Oh boy. They received, so the Wichita Eagle received an index card imprinted with a poem that begins with Shirley Locks, wilt thou be mine? Unaware of the connection to Shirley Vane or Vian, and believing it to be a Valentine's Day note, the mail clerk forwards the card to the paper's classified ads department.
Oh shit.
Yep. And so,
does it get published in the paper?
I think it did.
It did. It got published because they thought that it was like just a love poem.
Oh, that probably just set him off. Like, I've got to do this more if I'm going to show up in the paper, because that's what he was looking for.
Actually, it pissed him off. So, really? February 10th, 1978, BTK it makes a threat publicly. He got angered by the lack of response for his last attempt, so he sends a more direct message to Wichita-based KAKE TV. How many people do I have to kill before I get my name in the paper or some national attention, he writes. Before reeling off a list of suggested nicknames, including the BTK Strangler, the Wichita Hangman, and the Asphyxiator. How cocky is this motherfucker?
It's like the Transmorphers.
Transmorphers.
That's like the knockoff of the Transformers. The Transmorphers.
Yeah. Oh no, the GoBots.
Dude, that's even more. Those
are the GoBots.
That's worse than the GoBots.
I think I have one of those poems right here. There we go.
Octopus Game.
Here we go. So when this monster entered my brain, I will never know. But it is here to stay. How does one cure himself? I can't stop it. The monster goes on and hurts me as well as society. Maybe you can stop him. I can't.
I was gonna say that's later.
He didn't want to.
Oh no, I'm just saying this is one of his like poems or whatever it was.
Well, so Wichita Police Chief Richard LeMunyon.
What?
LeMunyon. LeMunyon.
Are those like Funyuns?
Well,
I love Funyuns.
He's got a cousin called Fermunda. Fermunda?
Fermunda?
Fermunda
cheese?
Well, so he subsequently calls a news conference to reveal for the first time the presence of the BTK Strangler in the area. We have no reason but to believe the individual has the capability to kill again, he warns.
I'll kill again. I'll
do it again.
Return of the Funyuns.
Oh, here we go. He had demanded media attention. And then there was another poem enclosed titled, "Oh, Death to Nancy." A parody of the lyrics to the American folk song, "Oh, Death." In the letter, he claimed to be driven to kill by X Factor, which he characterized as a supernatural element that also motivated Jack the Ripper and Son of Sam and the Hillside Stranglers. He also asked for the police to send him a hidden message. In response, and with the knowledge that Rader watched KAKE, the police decided
to be a hidden message.
What was that? What was it? The Funny Walks? The
Ministry of Funny Walks.
There you go. They just send them out real fast, and he's all, ha ha.
Well, they decided to flash a subliminal message for him. Because
was it this?
Yeah, it was the middle finger right there.
It should have been.
Hey, asshole. Fuck you.
It should have been. It was actually this.
Now call the chief.
Yep.
What is that? Glasses?
Glasses.
Upside down.
Yep. That was what they showed.
Yep.
So for those that are listening, it is a poorly drawn pair of glasses that says, "Now call the chief." And this flashed on the screen. And that was it. It was a subliminal message.
Yeah.
Were the glasses supposed to mean anything?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
He also asked for the police. So hold on one second. Yeah, the message stated, "Now call the chief," and featured the drawing of upside down pair of glasses. Oh, okay. Here we go. They were actually found at the Nancy Joe Fox crime scene.
They were fucking with him.
They actually hoped that him seeing that would make him turn himself in.
That is awesome. Because that just made his head explode.
Yep.
That he wasn't as perfect as he thought he was.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Oops.
So that was pretty much like this.
Yeah.
Yep. Fuck you.
So yeah, this was, yeah.
So I'm sitting there going, why were the glasses upside down until you said it was like, oh, they were at the crime scene. It was her glasses.
That is perfect.
Glasses. They were totally his. Which was so April 28th, 1979, another target narrowly misses becoming the next victim. He actually lied in wait for Anna Williams, but he gave up and left when the 63-year-old woman took too long to return home. Less than 2 months later, Williams learned of her brush with death when she receives several of her personal items by mail, along with a poem entitled, "Oh, Anna, why didn't you appear?"
I think
those were going to be his trophies, weren't they?
It wasn't just him like waiting in the bushes. It was him waiting in her closet.
No, I didn't say waiting in the bushes.
Oh, I thought you did. I'm sorry.
A brush with death.
Oh, brush with death. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, it was he was literally in her closet waiting and waiting and waiting.
I'm sorry. When you said hiding in the bushes, all I could think of, because we were talking about Ministry of Funny Walk. Have you ever seen that Monty Python's Flying Circus?
Yes.
Where people are disguised as bushes and they're blowing them up?
Yes. Although my favorite is still the funniest joke ever that won the war. You laugh yourself to death.
Sorry. I saw him hiding as a bush and getting exploded. Anyway.
That's what he looks like. He looks like some dude who kicks rocks and goes, fuck. Show up, fuck. Fucking rich. Fuck, boom.
He later explained during his confession that he became obsessed with her and was absolutely livid that she evaded him. He spent hours.
She was probably out just driving really slow.
Right? He spent hours waiting for her to come home.
How much you want to bet he just missed her?
and she's at the grocery store paying with pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you that he just missed her like by a minute. He just like he left and all of a sudden the lights come over as he's pulling away. The lights come into the driveway and he's just gone. Wouldn't that be something if he found that out right now? He'd be even more pissed now.
That would be hilarious.
So August 14th, 1979, BTK's phone call is broadcasted. So seeking help from the public, authorities released the recording of BTK's December 1977 phone call to report the death of Nancy Fox. Tips come pouring in from listeners who think they recognize the voice, but nothing relevant emerges.
Look at the time, though, that starts coming up, the span of time that starts happening between.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the hardest things to catch with serial killers, especially with people like killers like him.
They're gaps. They're huge gaps.
So 79 to 84, that's 5 years. 84, then he went to 85.
Oops. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 70.
There's a minimum of a year between each one, but most of them, they're a few years.
Yeah. So in 1984, the Ghostbusters task force forms.
Did you say Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters task force.
Yep. I'm not kidding.
Well, 1984.
Are they going to throw out like a ghost trap for him?
Well,
hopefully.
so Chief Lemunion established a task force that was dedicated solely to the BTK crimes. And because of the movie Ghostbusters coming out then and it was being very popular, they got nicknamed the Ghostbusters.
How much you want to bet
I
too?
gotcha.
They figured that BTK probably would have hated the movie.
Probably.
Probably. What if they show up in a car that goes wee wee wee?
So, well, the task force included a young officer named Ken Landwehr.
Huh. They all got some
who will
fun names in this one.
spearhead later efforts to track down the killer.
Yeah.
Takes pain to carefully organize and preserve the valuable evidence. This was a group of people that would go in and they wouldn't just like, oh, look, there's something on the ground. No, they would fine-tooth comb the entire area and make sure they got every little fucking piece.
I mean, I've got to tell you, like, serial killers are already douchey enough.
Oh, yeah.
But, if I was a law enforcement officer, I would live, breathe, and eat this case to try to find this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about BTK that just gets under my skin. Like, I cannot stand this.
Don't cross the streams.
Don't cross the streams. He legit does not care in the slightest. And there was no terrible upbringing or anything like that. He was just born evil.
He just felt ignored.
Yeah.
Oh, pobrecito.
Yep.
Okay. So, April 27, 1985, Rader strangles his neighbor. So
the Roadhouse Task Force came out. Sorry.
And just to let you know, it was 79 to 85. That was the gap.
Yeah.
And that was April of 79 to April of 85.
Huh.
So after an evening of bingo and dinner with her boyfriend, 53-year-old Maureen Hedge is taken from her home in the Wichita suburb of Park City, just down the street from Rader's house. She is found dead by strangulation 8 days later, though the police failed to connect her murder to the BTK killer at the time. How the fuck did they
who knows?
So Maureen Hedge was 53. She was found on May 5th, 1985 at East 23rd Street North between North Webb Road and North Greenwich Road in Wichita. Rader killed her on April 27th and took her body to Christ Lutheran Church, where he was the president of the church council. Let that sink in a little bit.
Yeah.
Why did he take her to the church?
Because he was the president there. He wanted to.
And he also wanted to pose her and stuff like that, which I think he did.
Yep. He photographed her body in various bondage positions. He had previously stored black plastic sheets and other materials at the church in preparation for the murder and later dumped the body in a remote ditch. 2 women Rader stalked in the 80s and one whom he stalked in the mid-90s filed restraining orders against him. One of them also changed her address to avoid him. Okay, I'm sorry. And tell me his wife didn't know?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I'm telling you, she knew. I don't
Someone
care what
holding
she said.
Someone was holding the camera on some of those pics.
So then we go to September 16th, 1986. Ooh. A husband becomes the suspect in another BTK killing. So Bill Wegeril returns home for lunch to find his 2-year-old son sitting by himself and his wife, Vicky, dead in their bedroom.
Oh, wow.
In the absence of other credible evidence, the husband becomes the primary suspect in her death. So he actually strangled 28-year-old Vicky Lynn Wegeril.
I think is it Wegerly?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure. Vicky. Sorry, Vicky. To death with a nylon stocking at her house in Wichita. Rader entered the residence by pretending to be a telephone repairman and rearranged her clothes post-mortem, took a number of photographs of her body nude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This guy's just an all-around fucking prick.
Now, why didn't he go after the son?
I
wonder.
I don't know. I mean, good thing he didn't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a 2-year-old defenseless child.
Crazy. because the kid would have been screaming or something.
Oh, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
January 19th, 1991, BTK kills for what is believed to be the final time. BTK throws a cinder block through a sliding door at the home of a retiree, Dolores Davis, and strangles her to death, leaves her body by a bridge. Seemingly preoccupied by his day-to-day duties as a Park City compliance officer and father of two, Rader ceases killing and BTK drops off the map.
So his being a compliance officer was actually satiating his thirst.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
I'm gonna write you a ticket.
I'm loving this power. This is better than killing.
Yep. Yep. I mean, what the hell?
It just has his little uniform that he wears
Look at
during his
that.
weird sex pictures that he takes. Loving this picture right here. This is great. I'm gonna go over here and partake in a little myself.
Ew. He probably would.
Yeah, that's probably how he talked when he was doing it.
January 2004, the Wichita Eagle runs a 30th anniversary piece on BTK. 3 decades after Rader killed the Oteros, the Wichita Eagle prints an article recalling the terror BTK wielded in the 1970s and suggested that he had faded from memory after so many years. Rader later admits that this article spurred him to revive his deadly alter ego.
The comeback.
The comeback
His Elvis
kid.
comeback. He's looking
Part
to do
two.
So March 19th of 2004, BTK announces his return.
So we're about to get into how he gets caught here. It's great.
This is
He
hilarious.
announces his return. I have returned.
Pretty much. Well,
What
the
a
which
douche pickle.
You know how much he was like probably sitting there writing this stuff out, doing whatever he's doing to announce his return, and he knew in his head that people would just be so elated that that BTK was back
right?
because he's such a fucking narcissist that he would believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you're a fucking murderer. No one cares where you're at. Just stay away and don't kill people.
So the Wichita Eagle receives an envelope from a Bill Thomas Kilman.
Well,
Creative.
I'm gonna kick him right in the fucking balls.
Containing a copy of Vicky's missing driver's license.
Kill him, and he could have came up with something else like Carrie or something like that. That would have been more like Killman.
Well, he sent them her driver's license, photos of her body, and his distinctive signature. The chilling message links her unsolved murder to BTK and declares the Wichita Terror to be very much alive. So May 5th, 2004, BTK teases with a puzzle. Let me stop there
This is
real
great.
fast.
Is it a douchey puzzle?
Well, actually, before I get there is a suspected murder from last year. So on August 23rd, 2003, the Associated Press reported that Rader was considered a prime suspect in 2 further killings in Oklahoma and Missouri. Authorities discovered possible trophies from victims after launching a search for evidence at his former Kansas home, resulting in the investigation of Rader's potential involvement in additional unsolved disappearances and murders. The one that they can really say was 16-year-old Cynthia Dawn Kinney was last seen in Osage, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Osage.
On June 23rd, 1976, at the Osage laundromat. Witnesses said she left the laundromat at 9:30 a.m., and got into a faded beige 1965 Plymouth Belvedere. In 2003, Osage Sheriff Eddie Verdon claimed that Rader was identified as a prime suspect after it was determined that Rader was involved in Boy Scouts in the area, and when it was learned that Rader was included or had included the phrase "bad wash day" in his writings. A bank was also having a new ADT alarm installed across the street from the laundromat when Kinney went missing. Rader was a regional installer for ADT at the time. Furthermore, Rader has allegedly claimed to have fantasized about kidnapping a girl from the laundromat. Rader has denied involvement in the murder, but Sheriff Verdon stated that he believes Rader's denial is because being tied to a murder in Oklahoma could open him up for a retrial and the death penalty.
Yep.
That's what I was about to say. It's either that, or if he were to, like you said, like one was in Missouri. I'm sure Missouri has the death penalty.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So May 5th, 2004, he teases with a puzzle. BTK's next outreach mailed to KAKE TV includes a phony ID, chapter titles for a BTK biography, and a find a word letter grid spelling out clues like prowl and fantasies, though investigators note the lack of his usual signature. Puzzle sleuths later realize that the letters RADER are grouped around the numbers 6220, the author's street address. Okay, come on,
you know the only other like really stupid thing he could have done, which would not surprise me in the least, is write a book about a fictional story that had all the crime evidence in it that the police did not make public. I mean, like that's his, like that would not surprise me at all. His cockiness.
Well,
it would have been a children's book too. It would have definitely been a children's book.
Wait, it had graphic descriptions of the Otero murders and a sketch labeled "The Sexual Thrill Is My Bill." Yes.
The sexual.
Have I said he's a douche enough times tonight?
No. So also enclosed was a chapter list for a proposed book title, The BTK Story, which mimicked a story written in 1999 by Court TV crime writer David Lohr. Chapter 1 was titled A Serial Killer is Born. In July, a package dropped into the return slot at a public library contained a more bizarre material, including the claim that he was responsible for the death of 19-year-old Jake Allen in Argonia, Kansas, earlier that month. This claim was false, and the death was ruled a suicide. So, December 13th, 2005, BTK leaves another disturbing package. And it was more messages in various public locations. A man walking through Wichita's Murdoch Park stumbled on a garbage bag containing Nancy Fox's driver's license and a Barbie doll with a hood over its head and arms tied behind its back.
I vaguely remember seeing the news broadcast of that.
Yeah. So, hold on one second. There we go. Sorry. I was trying to find where it was. He actually admitted in his interrogation that he had planned on killing again, and he had set the date for October of 2004, and he was even stalking his intended victim. And in October of 2004, a manila envelope was dropped into a UPS box in Wichita. It had many cards with images of terror and bondage of kids pasted on them.
Oh, wow.
A poem threatening the life of the lead investigator, Lieutenant Ken Landwehr, which we mentioned earlier, and a false autobiography with many details about Rader's life. These details were later released to the public. There you go. There you go, Oddmother.
He had to get that book in. He had to tell his story.
He did it. He did.
Did not surprise me.
So in December 2004, Wichita police received another package, and that was from the BTK killer. This time, there was another package in Murdoch Park, which we talked about, which was Nancy Fox's driver's license and a Barbie in bondage. So here we go. January 25th, 2005, a postcard points to more clues. Acting on instructions from a postcard mailed to KAKE TV, police find a cereal box on a roadside in in Wichita, or excuse me, rode outside of Wichita, containing a graphic description of BTK's first murders and another doll fashioned in death position. However, it's another section of the postcard which inquires as to whether this package was found at the local Home Depot. That proves more interesting to the authorities. After poking around the store, investigators learned that one employee had found a cereal box in the bed of his pickup truck. A search of his trash produces the box and a message asking if BTK could communicate via a computer floppy disk without being traced.
And here we go.
If so, the police are instructed to run a newspaper ad with the message, Rex, it will be okay.
So,
okay.
This is great. I'm sorry. I love this. This is how he just thought he was so much smarter.
Okay, so
just thought it was.
He asked them if he could put stuff on his writings on a floppy disk and if it could be traced or not. And the police answered the question going, "No, you're good, bud.
Do it.
Do it."
No, we can't trace you, not one bit.
So, with their fingers crossed behind their back.
I mean, look, even from a time like I know I grew up in the 90s, right? Like I mean, I was born in 81 and I grew up in the 90s. So we did have computers and stuff like that. But we also understood too that no matter what, any digital print, it's never going away.
Yeah.
Ever going away.
Well, there was I want to say around 1990, like 89, 90. It may have been a little before then. There was like a really big discussion on like the electric typewriters and stuff because they wanted to make sure with like computers becoming more accessible to people, like just the general public, that there would be certain recognizable markings for each particular computer, or that would have like a typewriter or print set, because you got to understand how the printers work back then. It was like little dots.
Oh yeah.
And nothing like it is now.
No.
My old printer at CarQuest that I had for my it was the ribbon
get
paper.
Those big long tapes for it.
And then you had to roll it in, and oh my god, that was a pain.
Set up your margins and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, there had to be like each particular series had to have a specific moniker to where, say somebody wrote some sort of terroristic letter, the FBI would be able to identify it by basically drilling down on the serial number of a particular type of printer or electric typewriter. So it did make it a little bit easier. And then that actually went over into the floppy disk too. So.
Yep.
Well, so on January 28th, 2005, police signaled to BTK through the newspaper. After an undercover detective makes arrangements with the Wichita Eagle, the paper runs a classified ad that reads, "Rex, it will be okay. Contact me, P.O. Box, first 4 reference numbers." What? P.O. Box 1.
Read it back. I'm sorry. I didn't.
It says, "Contact me, P.O. Box, first 4 reference numbers at 67202. That doesn't make sense to me. But okay.
Maybe it wasn't supposed to.
Well, it makes sense to him. It was whatever code they were using. But this is crazy. How you see all these conspiracy theories how they're saying how there's messages in the newspapers, and there's literally this is how they caught this guy. Was messages in the newspaper.
Yep.
This shit's real.
Well, 6 days later, BTK confirmed his receipt of the message through another postcard sent to KAKE-TV. So on February 16th, 2005, a purple computer disk.
Oh, it was one.
It was a purple 1.44 megabyte Memorex floppy disk.
One of those hard floppy disks, not the floppy disk.
No, it wasn't the floppy disk. No, it was the hard one.
It was a hard floppy disk.
Okay, okay. I remember those too.
Yep, all the video games that came on them before, it was so cool. Doom and everything.
Could you remember like getting to a part in the game and it would freeze? And I got to put in the other disc.
Yep. So this this floppy disk was sent on February 16th, 2005 to a Fox affiliate in Wichita. Also enclosed was a letter, a gold-colored necklace with a large medallion, a photocopy of the cover of Rules of Prey, which is a novel by John Sandford about a serial killer from 1989. Police found metadata embedded in the deleted Microsoft document that was unknown to be stored on the floppy disk to Rader, of course. So when they went and found the metadata, it actually revealed the disk to have been used by a dentist at a Christ Lutheran Church and Park City Library. Within seconds, an internet search for Christ Lutheran Church reveals the name of its president,
Dennis Rader.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dumb motherfucker, man. I swear to God.
So
he caught himself.
Yep. So when investigators drove by Dennis Rader's house, a black Jeep Cherokee, the type of vehicle that was seen in the Home Depot surveillance footage, was parked outside. This was strong circumstantial evidence against Rader, but they needed some more direct evidence to detain him.
I think they need some circumcisional evidence done on him.
There was because of the Ghostbusters and the team that Lieutenant Landwehr. And
Detective Landwehr.
So Lieutenant Landwehr and his team learned that Rader's daughter Carrie had been to the hospital for a pap smear. The hospital turned over the sample of her DNA, and it was a familial match to Dennis Rader. It was a familiar match to the BTK killer because of the DNA that they had preserved carefully from the investigation.
And now that daughter is serving life in prison. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I was like, is she?
No.
Nadine.
So, God, you would never be able to do that now.
No.
Yeah, that would never, ever happen. The police did obtain a warrant to test the pap smear.
Well, they did it the proper way.
But that would never happen now.
What? Who do you think tested the pap smear? Do you think he was a weirdo dude like that worked for the FBI?
Oh,
well, all they've got to do now is just because the FBI has bought up certain rights to some of these ancestral DNA places to where they can use them.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the one that they use a lot, but so that they can use them in cases like that.
Well,
do you think the FBI agent popped open the test tube like an 80s movie and it was all pop and then
stop.
And it started.
Nope. We're not going there. We're not on the Patreon yet. We are not getting taken down right now.
Just waft.
Okay.
Q-tip.
So basically, this sample was actually tested against a sample from Vicky's fingernails.
Mm-hmm.
And it indicated that this woman, Carrie, was closely related to the BTK killer. This, combined with other evidence, was enough to arrest Rader.
Oh, you know what I got to say about that?
Huh.
Good. Can I do mine too?
No.
Okay.
That one was more pleasant. So, Rader was arrested. Well, hold on. Let me go down this way. January 25th, 2005, Rader is arrested. Heading home from the office to have lunch with his wife, Rader is pulled over by the line of police cars trailing him and taken into custody.
So you caught the Alvin Rader masturbator.
Everybody wanted to get in on this one.
Hey!
He confesses after being confronted with the DNA evidence and enjoys what he believes is a bonding session with law enforcement agents, although he is plainly irritated that Landwehr lied to him about the security of the communications via computer disk.
They need to run him through the gauntlet.
Yeah.
He is
on the way to the patrol car.
Game of Thrones style.
Honestly, I think he loved every bit of it. Even if they beat the shit out of him, he loved it. And he is loving being in prison right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's loving it.
He's just mad he can't sell his shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. BTK's arrest is announced at Wichita City Hall the following day, drawing applause from the audience that gathered. An officer asked, "Mr. Rader, do you know why you're going downtown?" And Rader replied, "Oh, I have suspicions why."
Just snarky douche.
So, by the way,
every step of the way.
It wasn't just the Wichita police that were there.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody wanted to get in on this one.
It was the Wichita police, the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, the ATF, all of them.
They wanted to fuck this guy up.
Yeah.
You know what really messed him up? You said, "We're not going downtown. Are you ready to go on the long ride?" No one will ever hear from you again.
They got in there. They swarmed his home. They tore everything apart. They seized all this evidence from computers and black pantyhose that they found, and they retrieved them from a shed and a cylindrical container. The church he attended, his office at City Hall, and the main branch of the Park City Library that were also searched. At a press conference the next morning, that's when Wichita Police Chief Norman Williams announced the bottom line: BTK is arrested.
So I know that, the wife was acquitted or whatever, basically not. They basically said she had no involvement in it, but
I don't see how.
Dear God, it's right there.
If anything, she knew.
If anything, she knew he was weird as shit.
But
or he was
that's
weird
my
as shit.
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that
maybe she suspected it and then was too scared.
I don't know if that was it. It's those pictures that we're going to show on the
that's true.
The Patreon. It's like someone had to have held the camera, and with those pictures,
I'm going to be honest with you. In a marriage, there really is no privacy.
Yeah. There's not. It's almost like she was like, "That's his thing. He's going to do his thing once a year," and
at least it's not doing it to me.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
So
I'll just go do the weird pictures he wants me to take of him, and that's it.
Yeah.
April 19th, 2005, Rader waives his rights to a preliminary hearing. The scheduled hearing ends after a few short minutes, an acknowledgement from the defense that the state possesses enough evidence to send the case to trial. 2 weeks later, a silent Rader has the judge enter a not guilty plea for him. Yep.
So he at this point he has nothing to say, huh?
No,
but he was just chatty Cathy before.
Yep.
Yeah, and then when it's him going through everything he did in court, it's just like he's bored.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's like a day at the DMV for him. I'm like, no joke.
Yeah.
So let me go back there. There we go. On June 27th, 2005, Rader pled guilty. So catching prosecutors off guard by pleading guilty to 10 counts of first-degree murder, Rader provides the court with explicit details, which we will get into, on how
he changed his mind. Like, I wonder why.
I don't know. Maybe he was just sick of that home life.
I think he legit believed that the reason why he was mad at the detective, that he legit believed that he couldn't be tracked via that floppy disk, but they straight up caught him. And,
I couldn't be caught.
Yeah, and it showed his incompetence that he actually believed them. He thought this was a cat and mouse game that they were having. And that when they were caught, they're all basically going to be like,
oh, ha, good one.
They're going to go and have their little detective games back and forth in prison. And it's just going to be one of those long lifetime things that happened, and
nobody cared.
And no, it was like, yeah, no one cared. You're going to jail. You're an asshole. And they did not treat him the way he thought he was going to be treated.
Well, so he entered a plea of guilty for 10 counts of first-degree murder. He provided the court with explicit details on how he selected, stalked, and finally killed each of his victims. His lawyer later notes that they went to the guilty plea due to overwhelming evidence against their client and the lack of firm legal footing on which to enter an insanity plea.
You know what really pissed this guy off? If let's say we met him for an interview or something like that, you bring up murders that were not his, and like you just talk about how like they are his. He would pick.
Oh, I remember that one time that you were in a bug and you kidnapped girls.
Yeah. Didn't you plant heads in your mother's like flower bed? Didn't you do that?
or attribute some of his murders to somebody else? That would
or leave early when he's like
in the middle of describing
why
everything.
are you leaving early? I was like, yeah, but you're no Edmund Kimber. Sorry, guy. I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm not impressed.
I've been really trying to get an interview with that guy, and it just came up right now. See you later.
Yeah.
So, basically, soon after his arrest, the Associated Press cited an anonymous source alleging that Rader had confessed to other murders in addition to those which he had been connected to. However, the Sedgwick County District Attorney denied the story, yet refused to say whether Rader had made any confessions or if investigators were looking into Rader's possible involvement in more unsolved killings.
Oh, wow.
So let me go back here. On March 5th, news sources claimed to have verified by multiple sources that Rader had confessed to the 10 murders and was being charged, but no other ones. On March 1st, Rader's bail was set at $10 million US, and a public defender was appointed to represent him. On May 3rd, the judge entered not guilty pleas. He entered guilty pleas on his behalf, as Rader did not speak at his arraignment. However, there we go. So on May 3rd is when, because he refused to speak, the judge actually was like, he says not guilty.
Yep.
And so during the arraignment on June 27th, the scheduled date, he actually changed it to a guilty plea. And he had no
probably because he didn't want somebody to speak for him.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. And so he actually, when he described all the murders in detail, he made zero apologies.
Oh, yeah. Zero. Just like I said, like another day at the DMV for the guy, man.
Yep.
He's douchiest of the douche.
So let me go back over here actually. At Rader's August 18th sentencing, the families of the victims made statements, after which Rader apologized in a rambling 30-minute monologue that the prosecutor likened to an Academy Award acceptance speech.
Yeah.
His statement has been described as an example of an often observed phenomenon among psychopaths: their inability to understand the emotional content of language. He was sentenced to 10 consecutive life sentences with a minimum of 175 years. So at the time, Kansas had no death penalty. So
I was just about to ask you that. Why did he not have death penalty?
He so on August 19th, he was moved to the El Dorado Correctional Facility.
So then he's going to get the death penalty if they can prove that this is the one that it's in Oklahoma is one of his kills.
Well, with the DNA, I'm telling you, with the DNA, like the things that they can do now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
If they've preserved it correctly, then there's a very good chance. And if they could tie that would be perfect.
Oh yeah, because that's the one thing he doesn't want to happen. He just wants to live his life out. And from the looks of it, no one's bothering him in prison. People will leave him alone.
So on the
I would bake a pineapple cake that said "Welcome to Hell." Douchebag.
Oh yeah.
Well, so on the ride there to the El Dorado Correctional Facility, Rader talked about like innocuous topics such as the weather and stuff like that during the 40-minute drive to El Dorado, but began to cry when the victim's family statements from the court proceedings came on the radio.
Huh.
He's now in solitary confinement for his protection, with 1 hour of exercise per day and showers 3 times per week.
Yeah,
this will likely continue indefinitely. Beginning in 2006, he was allowed access to the television and the radio and to read magazines and other privileges for good behavior.
Yeah.
He should
Well,
not get shit.
How can
Well-
you not have good behavior being by yourself, not being messed with, you know?
Well, in January 29th, 2019, Carrie, Rader's daughter, who's now Carrie Rawson, published a book titled A Serial Killer's Daughter, My Story of Hope, Love, and Overcoming.
What the hell?
The memoir describes her relationship with Rader growing up and how she overcame the horror of discovering his crimes.
What is it, like 10 pages or something like that? I grew up with him.
He was
He
not-
murdered people. I got over it.
Yeah, right.
I know.
So, in February 22nd, 2019, Rader gives his first interview since his conviction. Rader writes a letter to the Daily Mail boasting about how he is treated like a pet inside the high-security El Dorado Correctional Facility. He claims he was possessed by demons named Batter and X Factor.
Batter.
Yep.
What was
When
that?
he committed his crimes.
Elvin Rader, the masturbator. Every time it just overtook him. Every single time.
Well, here you go. He was possessed by demons named Batter and X Factor when he committed his crimes, and that he had come close to executing an 11th retirement victim. He also speaks lovingly of his daughter Carrie following the publishing of her books.
Wow.
July 21st, 2023, Rader compares himself to the Gilgo Beach murder suspect.
Yep.
In a letter to Fox
He
News.
wants to be back in the
before.
limelight.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. He compared himself to the Gilgo Beach murder suspect Rex Heuermann, calling him a clone of myself. Based on the similarities of their case, Heuermann was arrested and charged with 6 counts of murder in connection to the deaths of 3 women. Huh?
Huh.
6 counts, 3 women?
Huh.
Well, actually, what I read about him earlier is that he has 10 or 11 victims.
Yeah.
So
They're probably only going to prosecute for the 3 that they can actually, like,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So, following Rader's arrest, police in Wichita, Park City, and several surrounding counties looked into unsolved cases with the cooperation of state police and the FBI. They particularly focused on cases after 1994, when the death penalty was reinstated in Kansas. Police in surrounding states such as Nebraska, Missouri, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Texas also investigated cold cases that fit Rader's pattern to some extent. The FBI and local jurisdictions at Rader's former duty stations checked into unsolved cases during Rader's time in the service. After exhaustive investigations, none of these agencies discovered any further murders attributed to Rader, supporting early suspicions that Rader would have taken responsibility for any additional murders that he had committed. As a result, the 10 known murders were at that point believed to be the only murders for which Rader was actually responsible. Although Wichita police are fairly certain that Rader stalked and researched a number of other potential victims. This includes one person who was saved when Rader called off his planned attack upon his arrival near the target's home due to the presence of construction and road crews nearby. Rader stated in his police interview that there are a lot of lucky people, meaning that he had thought about and developed various levels of murder plans for other victims.
douche, canoe, anal.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, and September 5th, 2023, police announced that they have possibly identified another victim of Rader. And that was in Osage County. They have identified a young woman depicted in one of Rader's color sketches that authorities have had since 2005. The woman, who is shown bound and gagged in a barn, is believed to have been from southeast Kansas and disappeared in 1991. With the help of tips received from the public, police say they will perform follow-up interviews that might help connect Rader to other crimes committed in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri.
I hope they do. I really hope they do.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
By the way, guys, some of the stuff we have are those sketches.
Yeah, so we
But you got to come over to
are
our Patreon.
going to go over to our Patreon now.
The link,
'Cause
the scroll that's going below us right now. That's our Patreon right there. So,
guys, we are going to give you a few minutes to head on over to our Patreon account, and we will
I gotta go
be
pee so bad right now.
continuing this. All right. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
We'll see you over there.
Yep.
Bye.